What up, dudes? Here's a trap that I want to show you, and it's basically dealing with percentages. I'll give you a hint. Whenever you're dealing with percentages, usually the obvious answer is not the right one. Here's the problem that we got. Back in 2000, Lena bought a car. And so Lena bought a car, and it's a pretty nice car. But I hate to say that in the last, 10 years or so, so I guess maybe this is 2004, because today's 2014. So back in 2004, Lena bought a car, and in the last 10 years, it's depreciated in value by 40%. Okay? So she sold the car. Then what happens is she sold the car to a dealer. The dealer marked that thing up by 20%, by whatever he paid for it, marked it up by 20%, and then sold it to somebody else. He sold it to Justin. Got it? All right, so the question is, how much did Justin buy the car for? Not necessarily exactly how much money per se, but at what percentage of the original cost did Justin buy the car for? Okay, so let me just show you what the obvious answer is that's wrong. The obvious one is if you start off with 100%, then you go down 40%, okay? And then you go up 20%, let's see. Start off 100, go down 40, that would give you 60. Up 20, that gives you 80. This would be the initial choice for everyone. And it would be wrong. Totally wrong. The reason being is because when you take percentages, what we got to do is we got to think of how much money the original was, then go down by 40%, and then you go up by 20% of that new number. And that's a different value. So, here's my trick for doing these percentage problems. Always start off with the number 100. Whenever you're dealing with percentage problems, pretend that it's 100. Okay, so I'm sorry, Lena, but you bought a new car, but maybe it's one of those, the electric cars, the one the little kids ride in, the one I'm going to get for my daughter for Christmas or something like that. It's the one that goes, you know what I mean? It's the little mini Jeep. That's like about 4 feet long, 3 feet high. That's how you're driving to work. So that costs about $100. I know you guys, Lena's thinking, oh, sweet, I'm going to buy a car. Yeah, it's a $100 car. And even though it might not be reasonable, well, I guess in the story that I gave you, it's more reasonable. But even though that $100 is not reasonable to buy a car, what we're doing here is we're setting 100 because we're dealing with percentages. And whenever you deal with percentages, using 100 works better because if you take 1% of 100, that's $1. So you're dealing with nice numbers here. All right. So you bought your car for $100. In 10 years, it depreciated at 40%. So we're looking at it being worth $60. Okay. Now, if you wanted to add 20% to this, the question really comes. I guess it's kind of obvious. You sold it to the dealer for $60. The dealer adds 20% to this number. See, if you add 20% to that number, 20% of 100 is 20. And then you would add $20 here, but that would give you that wrong answer. That's why this is the trick here. The dealer doesn't add 20% to what you originally paid. The dealer adds 20% to what he paid for it. So, you add 20% to this. So here's how you do that, is you want to do $60. What is 20? The question is, what is 20% of $60? Well, you just do 20 over 100. That's the same as 1 over 5. So really you're dealing with 60 over 5, which is 12. Okay? But your answer isn't 12. In fact, 12 is not even up here. What you're doing is you're adding this number to what the dealer paid for it. So your answer is 72. And that's dollars. So if Lena paid $100 for it, then the dealer is selling it for $72. You can relate it straight back to percentages because you started off with 100%. If you chose any other number, it would have been much more difficult to deal with. Basically, the person who bought it, Justin, bought it for 72% of what Lena originally paid for it. Oh, you're right, I'm sorry. Somebody said, hey, wait a second, you made a mistake. You're right. It's minus 40%, add 20% at the end. I'm sorry, I got those backwards. Yeah, so your correct answer is C. I mean, let's talk about it a little bit, all right? If you're, yeah, I mean, I guess when I think about this, I think, okay, if I start off with 100 and I go down 40%, then I'm going to go up 20%. There's no, I mean, E is totally out of the ballpark, right? And I actually think that I can reasonably eliminate A and B without even thinking about it. Because, I mean, if you go down 40% and then you go up 20%, then obviously it's not 40 or 60% because that would be like going down 40% and then down another 20% off the original price. Does that make sense to you? The toss-up really here is between, is it C or D? I think that that's more of the reasonable question. And the obvious answer that everyone would choose, which is wrong, is 80% because they think, okay, minus 40 plus 20, that's 80. But you go 40% down from here, and then you go 20% up of this number, which gives you 72. Making sense? Good? Bad? Ugly? Good? Bad? Ugly? Confused?